Hello. This is a video I've been wanting to make for a while, especially in the post-Brexit landscape now that the UK has voted to leave. Well, not the UK, because Scotland didn't want to, but Britain, I guess, has voted to leave the EU. And I want to talk about this debate around racism, xenophobia, and Islamophobia, etc., to do with the Brexit vote. And the phenomenon that I've noticed, especially recently, of people being incredibly sensitive to being called racist, or Islamophobic, or bigoted. I find that kind of ironic because these are the same kind of people who, you know, will say to you, I don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks. I'm a fucking edgelord, I say whatever the fuck I want about, you know, gay people or fucking Muslims or anything. I just say whatever the fuck I want, I'm a total rebel. I don't have feelings. Feelings are for gays, weaklings, and I just do what the fuck I want. But they get really sensitive about being called racist and Islamophobic, and they just go ballistic over being called these things. So I want to explore this hypersensitivity of badass cultural libertarian says whatever the fuck you want, anti-PC motherfucker, versus holy shit, I'm being called racist. You know, this is so mean, and cruel and unfair. Then I want to talk about how the immigration aspect actually impacts Brexit and where it sits in that whole equation.
That's been the argument right from the start. About some of the post-Brexit hate crimes, the graffiti, the hurling of insults. Are you? The Prime Minister
and that's our fault.
The Prime Minister started Parliament today with
an outrageous question. In every country, in every population,
I am asking you, as a politician,
allow me to
are
answer.
you concerned about some of the fallout?
In every country, you have some
outrageous?
racist idiots. In every society, you have some racist idiots. But for you to suggest without any connection that this is somehow connected to the campaign,
Daniel,
that you couldn't have had, that there were no racists in Britain before, that there are no...
Daniel, that's not what I was saying. I said, are you concerned about the fallout and the hate crimes? Again,
but why
I don't
assume that
believe
it's
I
fallout?
used the word right.
To me, that is just like my favourite reaction video from a leader in Brexit that I've seen. She's like, are you concerned about the rise in hate crimes? He's like, hey, how dare you? Am I concerned about hate crimes? How fucking dare you? And she's like, no, I'm just asking if you're concerned about the rise in hate crimes. You're saying that's our fault! You're saying it's the fault of Brexit! The unbelievable media! You know, I just think as a human being, you should be concerned about hate crimes in the wake of Brexit. That shows that you have a certain feeling like, I'm kind of responsible for this. Maybe you feel like kind of icky inside, so you just flip the fuck out like, oh, unbelievable that you would say this. That hate crimes are connected to Brexit. Well, they don't have to be connected to Brexit. It's just that that is a movement that you were a leader in, and if you see hate crimes happening post the Brexit vote, and it's kind of unusual, like there's an unusual amount of hate crimes, then can't you just say, I'm concerned about it? Be like, that is not connected to us. We do not condone or think racism in any form is okay. But yes, of course, I condemn that, and that's horrible, and no one should do racism in the name of Brexit. That doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. But instead he's like, how dare you? How bloody dare you? If you can see hate crimes occurring in Britain after Brexit, why can't you just say, yeah, I'm against that? Could it be that you just don't give a fuck about that kind of thing? You don't care about the way immigrants are treated in your own country?
I don't care what you call us. You can call us right-wing, left-wing. You can call us small-minded. You can call us whatever you... I don't care what you call us. But from this moment on, please, do not ever call us a racist party. We are not a racist party.
Now that one is particularly amusing because it's an absolute pure contradiction. He's like, I don't care what you call us. I don't care what you call UKIP. You can call us right-wing, you can call us nationalistic. I don't care. And then bit of a pause, but please don't call us racist. Anything but racist. Oh no, we can't handle being called racist. But I don't care what you call us.
The reason, sorry to interrupt, I'll be brief, but the reason why they're bringing in the migrants is because the elites have spent the last few generations convincing everyone that the only differences between the races results from white racism. All the races are fundamentally identical. Everyone's exactly the same. And the only discrepancy is the result of racism. Now, having set up that leftist, egalitarian, anti-biological, anti-fact, anti-data, anti-IQ testing, pseudo-imaginary nonsense, having set all that up, how can they say no to migrants? If they say no to migrants, then they have to say why. Now, are they going to say, well, you know, they have cultural values that may not be wildly compatible with the West and so on? Well, then they have to say that Western culture is superior, or at least better for Westerners. They also have to explain why they've let lots of non-Westerners, particularly in Germany, among the Turks, in for many decades without ever mentioning this one basic fact that there may be some level of incompatibility. And then people have to say, well, wait a minute. Do you just not want these people to come in because they're brown or whatever it is, right? And then what are they going to say? Are they going to say, well, you know, the reality is that there are differences between the races and...
European countries are finding it near impossible to integrate Muslims in any meaningful way, with Muslim communities segregating themselves to such a point that they're using a separate religious court of law on European soil. If Muslim communities are burning embers of religious extremism, the migrant crisis is gasoline that European leaders have willingly poured onto the fire. And if the present is any indicator of what will happen in the future, these Muslims will segregate themselves and refuse to integrate, right up until they're the majority population in Germany. German culture will die as German people are replaced with a foreign culture. It's only a matter of time before the rest of Europe follows.
Now, independent of the statistics that he brought up, such as 70-something% of the rapes in Sweden are by Muslims, like, we can talk about that. It's a separate conversation. Like, you can talk about statistics, and I'm going to talk about the statistics to do with crime and immigration later in this video. Independent of that, that's just pure fucking propaganda. Because you can make any video where you go completely ballistic about, you know, cats sleeping with dogs.
This is going to be a scary part of the episode. I'm going to give you some general ideas, and we're going to color code them, and I'll go through the map. Thugocracy or communist. This is like China. Now there's a third world thugocracy, a Islamic theocracy, and then a Nazi influence.
Raining fish, like Armageddon coming, the sky falling down.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap.
I could do that about anything.
And she said, when the blood starts to flow in the rituals, the British royal family turn into reptiles. They shapeshift into reptiles, and so do, you know, people like George Bush and other people who she names, Al Gore and many other people.
And that's the mother of all fucking slippery slope arguments. Like, the slippery slope argument is one of the #1 traits of Fox News, for example, which say, like, oh, fuck, you know, first you get socialized medicine, then you get socialism, and then you get communism, and then all of us are in camps and shit. You know, the Muslim population is going up, which, I mean, it's a genuine thing to think about, because it changes the demographics of your country, and you do want to think about, okay, ways of integrating that population and keeping the living standards of Germany high, you know? I think we don't want Germany to turn into a theocracy of any kind or turn into a Sharia country, because, I mean, it's a fucked up theocratic system that nobody actually wants. But just because you see what's happening right now doesn't mean you have to run around with your fucking hair on fire screaming in fear. They've said that one of the big effects of Brexit is that it's going to negatively impact the UK's GDP over the long term. The downtrend trend is clear. Simon Kirby, head of forecasting at NIESR, suggests an impact on GDP in the range of -2.2 to -6.3% in the long run. Now, if I was anyone like this Naked Ape Man, I would make a video being like, GDP's going down, the economy is going to crumble! Being out of the EU will kill everybody, it's the end of the fucking world! We're all going to die! But I don't talk about it like that. I just say, look, there's some negative consequences of leaving the EU. But this fucking guy says, you know, there's too many Muslim immigrants, they're bringing a culture that we don't like. That means that London is going to be on fire, Allah Akbar, everyone is going to die, everyone will be getting beheaded, and it will be utter chaos and death and doom. That's called propaganda. Propaganda is intended to create fear in your viewers. Propaganda, ideas or statements that are often false or exaggerated that are spread in order to help a cause, a political leader, a government, etc. So there's an element of perhaps truth to it that there could be communities that want Sharia law and try to do it in their own like individualized way, which is not acceptable because it's like extra legal. But you are definitely exaggerating that to spread fear. That means it's going to spread like Nazism, it's going to spread like cancer, and it's going to kill all of us. Well, we know that the world is already completely fucked in many different ways. But we don't know that that fuckedness is going to spread like AIDS across the developed world. Now, I suppose I wanted to talk about this guy for a while, Paul Joseph Watson, who works for Alex Jones' InfoWars.
She needs to be in prison now. This shirt's evil! No! Get away from me, racist!
Obviously a fantastic source to get really accurate and smart information about this world. And this guy is so fucking irritating, particularly because he puts his face way too close to the camera and he just like yells at you for like 30 minutes. You should get over it, left, because calling people racist is dumb. I am Paul Joseph Watson. My face is too close to the camera. And I always have a really similar looking expression, and I yell a lot. So get over it, you butt-hurt babies. I'm going to miss Nigel Farage.
But you lost. Get over it. Maybe you'll now finally realise that calling people racist or Nazis over and over again isn't an argument. It doesn't work anymore. I mean, look at some of the reaction. The bedwetting and the toy throwing from leftists today is delectable.
Brexit is an incredibly sad victory for racists and bigots, and much that is vile in the world.
Oh look, another arrogant, sneering, loathsome elitist who is on the wrong side of history.
So he's like, when are you going to learn that calling people racist is not an argument? And a real argument would be reading tweets about how they think it's racist in a high voice and calling them names like this. I'm really scared about this situation. You're an idiot. I'm Paul Joseph Watson and this is an argument. That's a real discussion. That's a real comeback there.
It's about reclaiming some genuine sense of patriotism after decades of being told that we're a country whose glory days are long gone. A country that should constantly apologise for its colonial history. Constantly being derided as small-minded little Englanders. Constantly being lectured that we're racist, merely for expressing concern about mass immigration.
So the thing I like about this is how he goes from this.
Brexit represents nothing less than a stunning populist revolt.
This is Sparta!
To this.
Constantly being derided as small-minded little Englanders. Constantly being lectured that we're racist.
Oh. Look, it's okay. It's okay. Hey, it's okay.
So he's basically saying, oh, you panty-wetting, nappy-wearing, lily-livered liberals. You can't take it when other people have a different point of view. You say, my feces are hurt. Oh, you hurt my feelings. You're so mean to me. Well, always crying, you pathetic, stupid liberals. But I'll tell you something. You know, Britain is not a racist country, and we've had to deal with decades of people saying mean things about us and saying, Britain's racist and you're racist. We're not racist. I'm not a racist, so you can see I'm a big baby. But you're a baby, because you're always crying about people calling you names. You fucking loser. You suck, but don't call me racist, loser. he can't make up his mind about whether he's a total badass or whether he's a crybaby. So I get called names all the time by all kinds of people on the internet. You know, it's kind of like their bread and butter. It's what people on the internet enjoy doing. They just, you know, they can't be fucked thinking of any, like, deep points or actually coming up with an argument, so they just call you a whole bunch of names, and then that's just their way of fucking dealing with things. Like, for example, I've been called regressive, like a cuck, I don't know, SJW. I used to take that kind of shit really personally, like I would really care about it when people called me names, and eventually I realized if something about you is not true, if somebody calls you something and it's not true, like, a good example would be like if someone called you gay. There may have been a time when if somebody called me gay, I would have taken it kind of to heart and be like, oh, I'm not gay, you know, I'm straight. And then I realized over time that if I'm not gay, why would I even feel the need to, like, defend against that or make a big deal about it? I just say, I'm not gay. And that's about it. And I feel like that's the same with just about any insult. So that when someone says to me, like, you're regressive, I'm like, well, I'm not regressive. Do you have any evidence that I'm regressive? And then they give me a whole bunch of fucking straw men that are basically like, you think this. I'm like, no, I don't. You think that. You think this. No, I don't. So I'm not regressive either. And they don't care. They just keep calling me regressive. And I'm like, well, I mean, I've already explained how I'm not, and then you just get the fuck over it and you don't care about it. And if somebody calls you a racist, you should know, like, I'm not a racist, so you don't take it personally. So I just think, like, well, that person is stupid. That's all I think. When someone calls me aggressive, I'm like, you're an idiot. What else is there to say? And if someone called me a racist, I'd be like, I'm not racist. So why? I'm asking, why would you get so personal and, like, so torn up about it? Like, how dare you? How dare... That shuts down the debate. That's dishonest. That's lying. That's scum tactics. You know, everybody calls each other names. I'm not saying that it's right. I'm not saying that's, like, a good thing. I just think you have to get the fuck over it, because that's fucking life, man. Being a grown-up is about, if someone else calls you a name, even if it's like bigot or racist or Islamophobe or whatever, and you don't believe in those labels, just dismiss it. Because you know it's not true. And if you find that that gets to you in some way, then I'd say examine yourself, examine your views, think about what you think and why. And then maybe you'll be like, oh, okay, they do have a little bit of a point. You know, my sexuality or, you know, my views on things or like how I feel about other races and etc. It's all open for discussion. But if what you have to say about it is bollocks, then I can just dismiss it. And I feel like that's the way that people who say they're not racist should deal with this. They should say, whatever evidence do you have? If the person only has straw man and bullshit, to say fuck off. And if they have some evidence, then think about it. Reconsider. And then decide again, am I racist? And maybe, when you keep reconsidering, you'll just be like, no, I'm not. And that's perfectly fine. But if you can have an honest debate with yourself about what your actual views are, there's nothing harmful about that, and I'd say, go for it.